Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another session of Big Data Learning. And this is going to be our second video on the Azure interview question and answer series. So the agenda is pretty simple, just the question answers on Microsoft Azure interview question and answers that you might be asked and how you're supposed to answer them. You will be just saying in this video. And so these questions, first we are going through the basic questions, basic interview questions, and later on we'll move into, different aspects of Azure. We'll go subject specific afterwards, right? My name is Abidinisa Begum. I'm a technical trainer. I give training on Azure, Tableau, and AWS, and also soft skills training sometimes. Right now, without wasting any further time, let's just move quickly towards the question and answers. So today's first question would be, what are break fix issues in Microsoft Azure? Now, how do you explain it? So simple as the term break fix issues like itself indicates, it's referred to any technical problem that might occur in Microsoft Azure. So it's an industry term. It refers to like when there is a support of technology, when if it fails the normal course of its function, like whatever task you're performing using the particular technology. Now, if there is any abnormality in that function, that is what is referred to as a break fix issue in industry terms. Next, what do we have? The question is, what is the use of migration assistance tool in Azure website? Now, migration assistant tool helps you to examine your IIS installation. What is IIS? It's Internet Information Service. It's specifically used for websites, as the name itself implies, and it works against, like I said, Internet Information Service and Apache, and will identify which of your websites are able to be migrated into Azure Websites platform as a service, right? Websites platform as a service. And then it will also identify any components that cannot be migrated or are unsupported in the PAS, that is platform as a service on Azure website, right? Not only will the tool migrate the website, but also any uh, associated database it uses. Now, the documentation does not indicate how it will migrate the associated database or to what platform, like Azure SQL PAS or MySQL PAS or MySQL in-app, anything like that. So if this is clear, we can move ahead to the next question. What is HD Insight in Microsoft Azure? It's a cloud distribution of Hadoop component, and it makes HD Insight, Azure HD Insight, makes it easy, fast, and cost effective to process a massive amount of data. Now we can use the most popular open source frameworks such as Spark, Hadoop, Hive, LLAP, Kafka, Storm, R, and many others. Now, next question, explain the term Service Fabric in Azure. So, Azure Service Fabric is a platform as a service offering designed to facilitate the development and deployment and management of highly scalable and customizable applications for Microsoft Azure Cloud Platform. Right, so it's a middleware platform which gives more scalable outcome. It mostly renders with a more managed and reliable enterprise. Now, if you want to give more explanation to it, like what is Fabric and everything, so Fabric in this context, it's a synonym of framework. Azure CTO Mark describes Service Fabric as a layer that understands the binding between microservices and the underlying infrastructures that they run on. So that is what Fabric is referred to. Now, apps created in the Service Fabric environment are composed of separate microservices that communicate with each other through service APIs. What are APIs? Application Programming Interfaces. The modular nature of microservices makes it possible to scale individual components of an application separately according to requirements, frees developers from the need to deal with the infrastructure problems, and also it simplifies the process of rolling out changes. The microservices that we are talking about, its approach contrasts with the traditional monolithic architecture in which elements of a program are interwoven and interdependent, requiring that the whole program be addressed if any element is to be changed. Right? So you can give the complete information if you have been asked for to explain the term service fabric, or if you want to give a very simple explanation, then this definition would be enough, that it's a middleware platform which gives more scalable outcome. It mostly renders with a more managed and reliable enterprise. Right? The next question for us is explain availability set. It's a Availability sets, these are, these ensure that Azure virtual machines are deployed across multiple isolated hardware nodes in a cluster. So like you can see, it's a logical grouping of virtual machines. It allows the Azure cloud to build in and understand how the application for a user is built to provide availability and redundancy. Now again, if you want to expand this answer, if you want to explain it, you know, a bit more. So you could say by deploying your VMs across multiple hardware nodes, Azure ensures that if hardware or software failure happens within Azure, only a subset of your virtual machines are impacted and your overall solution is safe and in working condition. Now, availability set, it also provides redundancy for virtual machines, uh, and it spreads your virtual machines across multiple fault domains and update domains. Now, if you want to leverage Microsoft's 99.95 SLA from Microsoft, you must place your VMs inside availability set, except your VMs are having premier storage, right? The following are the three, main scenarios, or which can cause your VMs in Azure to be impacted or make them faulty. So unplanned hardware maintenance events, when Azure platform predicts that hardware or any platform components associated to a physical machine is about to fail, or an unexpected downtime. This rarely occurs. Mostly unexpected downtime is not more. It's not very common in this. Now planned maintenance events, it could be periodic update made by Microsoft. So that could be the only thing when these maintenance events might occur, right? So I hope the questions still here are clear. So the last question for today would be, what are the different types of storage areas in Windows Azure? Now, there are blobs, table, line. There is something also called as queue storage. So I'll tell you about each of them. So first, what is Azure Blob Storage? Blob storage is basically a storage for unstructured data that can include pictures, videos, music files, documents, raw data, and log data, along with their metadata. Blobs are stored in a directory-like structure called as container. If you are familiar with AWS S3, containers work much the same way as S3 buckets. You can store any number of blob files up to the total size of 500 TB. And like S3, you can also apply security policies. Blob storage can also be used for data or device backup. Now, what are Azure table storage? Table storage, as the name indicates, is preferred for tabular data, which is ideal for key value, no SQL data storage. Table storage is massively scalable and extremely easy to use. Like other NoSQL data stores, it is schemaless and accessed via a REST API, right? So that's about this table storage. Next, we have line storage, or so the line storage, the sole target of queue. This line storage is also called as the queue storage. It's queue storage service is used to exchange messages between components either in the cloud or on premise. You can store large number of messages to be shared between independent components of applications and communicated like asynchronously via HTTP or HTTPS. Typical use cases of queue storage includes processing backlog messages or exchanging messages between Azure web roles and worker roles. Now, like I said, there is something else also called as Azure File Storage. It's meant for legacy applications. Azure VMs and services they share their data via mounted file shares, while on-premise applications access the files using File Service REST API. So Azure File Storage offers file shares in the cloud using standard SMB protocol and supports both SMB 3.0 and SMB 2.1, right? So that's all about today. So let's just go through all these questions and try to understand them. So if you have any queries regarding this session and if you have any feedback for me, feel free to comment. And if there is any video there on Azure that you want me to make, then feel free to let me know. Thank you very much for staying with me throughout the session, and goodbye till the next session. Happy learning.